a really stark truth about the dream of owning a small business. The heroic person who quits their job to follow a passion.
It's the ultimate narrative of freedom, yeah. But, and this is a key, within 5 years, the failure rate is over 80%.
And that failure rate is what we have to wrestle with today, because the common idea is, oh, they just didn't work hard enough, or the idea wasn't good. But our sources today suggested something much more fundamental.
Exactly. The fascinating thing is that the problem is almost never a lack of effort. Most small business owners work themselves into the ground. The real flaw, the structural flaw, is that small businesses, as they're usually built, they just don't work.
The business doesn't work.
No, the people who own them work. They work like crazy, sacrificing everything because the business demands their constant input. The owner is doing the wrong work. And that leads straight to chaos, unpredictability, and really unrewarding returns.
So our mission for this deep dive is to give you the blueprint to get out of that trap. We're going to unpack what's called the E-myth, the entrepreneurial myth, and show you how to build a business that is predictable, manageable, and actually serves your life, not the other way around.
And the key to all of this is a concept called the franchise prototype.
Okay, let's start with that central myth then, the E-myth. It's this romantic belief that businesses are started by these, visionary, heroic entrepreneurs.
Right, the movie version. But the reality, what the material shows, is that most of them are actually started by technicians, people who are just really, really good at the technical work.
And they get hit by what the sources call an entrepreneurial seizure.
It is a dramatic moment. It's when the best baker in the shop suddenly thinks, hey, wait a minute, I'm the one making these amazing pies. Why am I doing this for someone else? I should start my own bakery.
And that's the seizure.
That's the seizure. And it leads directly to what's called the fatal assumption. This is the root cause of that 80% failure rate we talked about.
So what's the assumption?
The assumption is that if you understand the technical work, baking the pies, fixing the car, writing the code, then you automatically understand how to run a business that does that technical work.
Oh.
And it's just not true. It's like thinking that because you're a great pilot, you're automatically qualified to run an entire airline. The technical skill is vital, but it's completely different from the work of building a business. So the technician has just created a really frustrating, exhausting new job for themselves.
This brings us right to the case study of Sarah and her pie shop. All about pies. This is so relatable. Sarah was a fantastic baker. She loved the craft. And she poured her whole heart into this shop. I mean, the best oak floors, the most beautiful ovens. The pies were incredible.
But 3 years later, she hated it. She was deep in debt, totally exhausted, and the very act of baking, the thing she loved, had become a chore. Because now she wasn't just baking. She was dealing with suppliers, payroll, marketing, unclogging the toilet at 2 a.m.
Joy was just buried under chaos.
Completely. She didn't buy a business, she bought a job, and it was a much worse job than the one she left.
And the devastation, it comes from this internal war. The sources argue that every business owner is actually 3 different people, all fighting for control.
That's right. The entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And they all want completely different things.
Let's define those, because this is really the key to understanding the problem. So first you have the entrepreneur.
The visionary.
Right. The dreamer. They live in the future, always asking, I wonder, what if? They're focused on the big picture, the future work.
Then you've got the manager. The manager is the pragmatist. They need order, systems, control. They cling to the status quo. And honestly, they see problems everywhere the entrepreneur sees an opportunity. They're the anchor.
And finally, the one who's usually running the show in a small business, the technician.
The doer.
The doer. Their motto is basically, if you want it done right, do it yourself. They are completely focused on the hands-on tactical work.
And when the technician dominates, which happens, 90% of the time, you get what's called the technician's tyranny. The technician actively fights against creating systems because they believe they are the system.
Right. No one can do it as well as I can.
Exactly. So they avoid the strategic work of the entrepreneur and the organizing work of the manager. And the business becomes a direct reflection of the owner's own mind. As the source says, if your thinking is sloppy, your business will be sloppy. It never grows beyond what the owner can physically do themselves.
Okay, so if the technician's natural state is chaos, then where is the blueprint for order? And this is where the story takes a turn to, of all places, McDonald's.
It's such a great example. Ray Kroc and McDonald's, starting back in 1952, they catalyzed this whole turnkey revolution.
What was so revolutionary about it?
Well, franchising existed, but Kroc created the business format franchise. And his critical insight was that the franchise wasn't buying a hamburger recipe. The real product wasn't the hamburger. The real product was the business itself, a perfectly engineered system that worked every single time.
And the numbers, the numbers just prove how powerful this is. We said 80% of independent businesses fail.
Right.
With business format franchises, it's the complete opposite. 75% of them succeed in that same 5-year period.
It literally flips the odds on their head. It's proof that systems, not just individual passion or genius, are what create success. And that replicable system is what we call the franchise prototype.
A systems-dependent business, not a people-dependent one.
Exactly.
But, okay, if I'm a small business owner listening to this, I might think, that sounds so cold. I don't want my artisan bakery to feel like a McDonald's.
And that's the key question. The prototype isn't about being cold or killing creativity. It's described as an incubator and nursery for all creative thought. It's about having a working model, like an engineer with a pre-production car. You test every assumption, you perfect every process, and you document it.
So the system provides the genius, not the person.
This system provides the genius. The goal is for the results to be consistent no matter who is doing the task.
And McDonald's took this to an extreme level, right?
A fanatical level. Think about the French fries. The system says they can't be in the warming bin for more than 7 minutes, period. The hamburger patties are turned at exactly the same time, every time. They even created Hamburger University, not to teach people how to cook, but to teach them how to run the system.
So how does a business owner start building this?
You have to make a huge mental shift. You have to start working on your business, not just in it. And you play what's called the franchise game. You pretend your current business is just the prototype for 5,000 more just like it.
That one idea forces you to think about replication. What would someone else need to know to do this perfectly without me?
Exactly. And that leads to the 6 rules for building the model. Rule 1 is about value. The model has to provide consistent value to everyone, customers, employees, suppliers, that goes beyond their expectations.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, rule number 2 is where the technicians get tripped up because it sounds completely backwards. The model must be operated by people with the lowest possible level of skill.
Wait, hold on. Lowest possible skill. Don't you want the best, most skilled people you can find?
You want the best systems. See, if your business requires a team of brilliant, high-priced experts to function, you can't scale it. It's too expensive and too fragile. The system has to be so good that it allows ordinary people to deliver extraordinary, repeatable results.
I see. So the system provides the skill. It doesn't rely on the employee already having it.
Precisely. Rule 3 is about presentation. The model has to be a place of impeccable order. A business that looks orderly sends this powerful subconscious message to the customer that you're in control, you're competent, that some things in this chaotic world actually work.
And then rule 4 is you have to document that order. All work has to be written down in operations manuals.
This is the system itself. It answers every question with, this is how we do it here, no more guessing.
And rule 5. This feels like maybe the most important one for the customer. The model must provide a uniformly predictable service.
Uniformly predictable. If you are inconsistent, you are failing your customer.
The story of the barber in the source material is perfect here. This barber gave a fantastic haircut, truly a master. But one time, you'd get a neck massage and a coffee.
And the next time, nothing. Maybe they'd skip the hair wash.
Right. And even though the haircut was great, the experience was completely arbitrary, so the customer left.
And they left because humans crave certainty. If I don't know what I'm going to get, even if what I got last time was great, I will look for a reliable alternative.
Yeah.
A technician owner runs on their mood. A system runs on documented steps.
Finally, Rule 6 is about a uniform code for color, dress, facilities, the visual stuff.
And it matters so much. Think about IBM in its heyday with the sharp navy blue suits. That image conveyed competence and seriousness before a word was ever spoken. It's all part of the system.
So this franchise prototype, it isn't built overnight. It's a continuous process. And that's where the business development process comes in.
Right. It's the engine that builds the prototype. And it has 3 parts: innovation, quantification, and orchestration.
Innovation is first, but it's not about inventing the next iPhone.
Not at all. It's about constantly asking, what is standing in the way of my customer getting what they want? It's about small, constant improvements.
There's a great example of this. A retail store changed just one sentence. Instead of saying, "May I help you?" which always gets the "no thanks, just looking" response.
The automatic defense mechanism, yeah.
They changed the script to, "Have you been in here before?" And that one small innovation, that one change, increased sales by 10 to 16% almost immediately.
But that innovation is totally useless without the second step, quantification. You have to measure everything.
The numbers.
The numbers. How many people came in? What percentage bought something? What was the average sale? Without the numbers, you're just guessing. You're flying blind.
And the third piece is orchestration. This is the glue. It's taking what you learned from your quantified innovation and building it into the formal, repeatable system.
It's the action of documenting it, training on it, and making it the new standard. If you haven't orchestrated it, you don't own it, it was just a fluke. This is what creates that predictability that people crave.
And this orchestration, it applies to soft systems too, right? Not just, how to clean the equipment.
Absolutely. It's about how we communicate. The hotel example is fantastic for this. Imagine checking into a hotel, and in your room, your favorite coffee is already there, your preferred newspaper is on the desk, maybe there's a fire lit.
That's not magic.
It's a meticulously orchestrated soft system. Checklists, preference management, color-coded manuals. It turns what seem like complex people problems into simple management opportunities.
And when you have that level of system, it creates a different kind of workplace. The sources call it a dojo.
A martial arts practice hall. It's a place where doing the work the right way according to the system becomes more important than not doing it. The real fight becomes internal. It's a place for your people to practice being the best version of themselves.
So let's bring this all together. The path here is to stop seeing your business as a job for you to do and start seeing it as a product in itself, the franchise prototype that runs on systems.
Your main job stops being the technician and becomes the builder of the organization chart, where you are constantly replacing yourself in every role with a documented, measurable system.
And all of this has to connect back to your primary aim, right? The life you want to live.
Always. The business is there to serve your life, not the other way around. And the biggest challenge isn't finding customers or beating competitors. It's your own internal resistance to change. It's the comfort you find in just doing the technical work yourself because it's familiar.
That comfort zone is the final hurdle. The source calls it a curtain that shields the owner from the scary but necessary work of building the business. And to get the freedom that a real turnkey business offers, you have to be willing to step through that curtain. You have to take that leap of faith from being the technician trapped inside the business to being the entrepreneur who builds it. Because if you aren't ready to face that unknown, well, comfort makes cowards of us all.